Now, what's the most important thing to know when you're facing a termite infestation? Terry Harris from Best Rate Repair and Termite is here to answer the most common questions about termite treatments for your home. Welcome, Terry. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're going to talk about the 5 common questions that people ask you about termites, but I have to say, number one, and I'm speaking for the whole entire Approved Home Pro team, that pets are a concern. And do people need to be worried about the different treatment options when you have pets in your home?
Well, for any type of localized treat or subterranean treatment, they really don't have to worry about it, just to keep the pet away from the area that they're working on at the time they're working on it. And for fumigations, it's required that they have to be removed anyway for the time of the fumigation.
All right, Terry, I've got a question for you, and this is one of the most common questions asked as well, is can you be there during the treatment?
Well, back to the localization treatments and subterranean treatments, you can be there during those times. Fumigations, you have to be gone for the full 48 hours.
So explain the difference between the two treatments.
The treatment for a localized treatment or subterranean treatment is where they're going to drill holes either in the wood itself where the galleys are, or in the ground where they'll do it around the perimeter of the home. Those are actually chemicals that are injected.
And the galleys are those little like pipelines that come from the ground up?
That's a mud tube. That's that's kind of like their super highway to get to the wood to eat. That's their subterraneans. They actually live underground. Dry woods actually will create a galley inside of a piece of an area of wood, and so they don't need. They're traveling through the wood itself. You don't even see them.
Okay, so then after treatment, what about residue? Is there any concern about residue being left, let's say, on furniture,
dishes, anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, in the respect that in a localized treatment, once again, that's injected into the wood, and usually in areas that it's not very accessible to a human being to begin with. Except for like windowsills or whatever. But, and in fumigations, that's done by gas, and so gas leaves no residual anyway.
So it dissipates.
It dissipates, correct.
But then you go in and make sure that everything has clearance before you allow the homeowner to get back in the house, right?
They go in they have a tester, a meter that tests the amount of gas still left in the air, and there's a certain minimal requirement that by law that it has to be. And once it's cleared that level, then they can open up the premise.
Okay, and then now can I use orange oil? We see this on the TV all the time, advertisements for orange oil. Can I use it for a whole home treatment for termites?
No, and that's where it's a little bit been misleading how people have promoted orange oil itself. Orange oil is a chemical, just like the other chemicals that we use, but it's only for localized treatments. It's not for whole home fumigation, and that's where you get a little confused. Because what it is, it has to actually be injected and come in contact with the termite to even kill it, to begin with.
Okay.
And it is a liquid. It is not a gas, which a gas is what you use to fumigate.
But I mean, you go through all of these things before and after. Depending on the treatment that they need, your team will go over this with the homeowner as to every step they need to take.
Oh, absolutely. We'll sit down with them. We go through the different processes based on what it is, whether it be a localized treatment, a subterranean treatment, or fumigation. We go through the step-by-step process of things that they need to do to help us prepare for it.
So the preparation and as far as food and contents that need to be removed or that need to be bagged or double bagged, right?
Right, and that would be in the case of a fumigation. And we actually offer them a free preparation assistance. We'd come out to the home in advance, a couple days in advance. We go through everything that they need to do, whether it be from food sources, they'll need to double bag them. It could be as much as, like, example would be, this is what a lot of people don't talk about, it could be a baby's bed, which are covered in plastic. Mm-hmm. Those need to be removed. But outside of, then that's only because it can trap the gas within it. But outside of that, anything else in the home doesn't need to be, and it leaves no residue.
You mentioned the plastic, that's why they have to remove that. But another common question people ask is, do we have to wash our bed sheets, things like that?
Yeah, and the answer to that would be no. You technically don't even have to wash your dishes. You don't have to wash up counters, anything, because once again, it's a gas. It's not a liquid.
Okay.
It doesn't leave a residue.
All right, well, we have a fan question in addition to the 5 most common questions asked. I remember seeing homes that had to have foundations drilled and pesticide injected. When is that required? That comes from Michael in Bay Park.
Okay, that is a subterranean treatment, the way you treat for subterranean termites. That is where you go around, you dig a trench around the perimeter of the home, and you pour the chemical inside that. Any concrete foundations or slabs, what you would do there is you have to drill holes every few inches apart all the way around that area, and then you inject the chemicals down to so that it goes underneath the slab itself, because subterraneans are underground, and that's the only way to get the chemical introduced to them to kill them.
All right, well, Michael in Bay Park, thank you for your question. And you need to pick up the phone, call the number on your screen, Best Rate Repair and Termite, because you can get 10% off up to $500 when you mention Approved Home Pros, and that's on any service. They'll come do a free inspection for you with no obligation at Best Rate Repair and Termite. So again, 10% off up to $500. Mention Approved Home Pros. Terry, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, gentlemen.